This is a thing we've done a few times now, and mentioned it to Alan, and he very kindly gave us the opportunity to do it. But we're going to sort of take you on a bit of a journey tonight, looking at jazz and the influence of the gospel on jazz musicians, and equally the influence of jazz musicians on gospel and music and standards. So you'll have to forgive me, I've got to do a bit of running around back to the laptop. Can everybody see the screen okay?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm going to move on from the first slide. The first slide, that's actually Louis. He did an album, Louis and the Good Book. We'll talk about Louis later, but hope you like the artwork. Okay, so the inspiration for this, and I'm going to talk for a little bit before we play our first tune, but the inspiration for this was this quote I saw in Bath Cathedral. And I just thought it was a wonderful quotation, and it sort of talks about how, as musicians and people who like music, it's something that you can't really articulate in a sort of a scientific way, perhaps, about music and how it affects us. It's not something we can measure, like in a test tube or put a dimension to, but it's something that's evident and why we play music and why we like to listen to music. And with the gospel theme, it's understanding, perhaps thinking about the spiritual aspect of music and how that's developed over time. So I'll take this on. This is another quote from a theologian. So I did a bit of research on this, and so God may be like a great jazz musician in that God has an overarching compositional plan for the life of the world, etc. So there's quite a bit of stuff about this, about jazz and theology. And this is an extract from the BBC. They did a programme about the Brecon Jazz Festival, and in fact on this particular programme that was broadcast, I think last year, Dan's band was playing. I'll introduce you to Dan in a minute, but his band was playing, and it was a sort of look by at the influences of the spiritual or the gospel on jazz. So that happened on BBC. In America, there's a particular movement called Jazz Vespers, and this is a thing where people who don't perhaps like the formal side of church, but appreciate poetry, spirituality, they go along, and it's very informal, lots of improvised music, lots of poetry. And there's a movement called the Jazz Vespers, particularly in the States, but there are a few in this country as well. Okay, so that's sort of the background. It's really looking at the timeline of jazz and how the music's been influenced by the gospel. And we start with a piece of music by, of course, one of the most famous jazz musicians there has ever been. He wrote prolifically throughout his career, which was very, very long. He ran a successful big band right through until he died I think it was in the 70s. He died, but he, towards the end of his life, he became very spiritual, if you like. I think he'd always been spiritual, but he produced 3 sacred concerts at the end of his life, which he took very seriously. And the first piece we're going to play is one of his compositions. I think I've got another slide actually before we... That's just a bit more background about Duke Ellington actually. So he's one of the only guys to receive an award. It's the highest, a medal it was the highest award a civilian can get from, in America, which he received. So musical royalty. So as I say, he did these sacred concerts, and he based one of his pieces, the beginning of the first sacred concert, there's the album covers on, I don't even know the order of my slides, but I'm rambling about here, but I'm just trying to give you an impression how important he took this. And these are a couple of quotes there. At the end of his life, I say, he took it very, very seriously, so it was a very important thing for him. So he took, for the first concert, he took the first words of the Bible, in the beginning God, first 4 words, and there's 7 syllables there, and he composed a tune from those first 4 words. And this opened his concert, I think it was in San Francisco, and he had a full orchestra, full big band, he had tap dancers, he had singers and a choir. So tonight you're getting the cut-down version. Yes, for austerity reasons. We couldn't fit them all on the stage. So our first tune, I hope you enjoy this one. This is a tune written and composed by Duke Ellington called In the Beginning, God.
No
no nothing. In the beginning, in the beginning, in the beginning, God. In the beginning, God. In the beginning, God. In the beginning, God. No heaven, no earth, no nothing.
No mountains, no valleys, no main street, no back alleys, no night, no day, no bills to pay, no glory, no gloom, no poverty, no Cadillacs, no sand traps, no mud packs, no pedestrians, no carriage trade, no bodyguards, no credit cards, no conference calls, no TV commercials, no headaches, no aspirin, no heroes, no zeros, No naughty, no nice, no limit, no budget. No bottom, no topless. No cows, no bogs. No barracuda, no buffalo, no birds, no bees. No Beatles, no symphony, no jive, no Gemini 5, no 10, 9, 6 or 8. No men trying to fill an inside straight. No applause, no critique, no amateur, no professional, no questions, no answers, no singers, no dancers. No varied and sundry, ranting and raging, hither and yon, from pillar to pot,